So I want to share a very effective mindset, and it's using nature as an example, okay? And I really believe that when you really grasp this, it's going to help put a lot of things into perspective. And so I was watching a nature documentary the other day, some nature videos, and I came across the spider, right? Spiders, which some of you are like, heck no, I'm not watching that, freak me out or whatever, right? Well, there's actually a lot to learn from spiders. In fact, there's a lot to learn from a lot of things, which is why I think people should dive into multiple things, no matter, if you're running a business or whatever you're trying to manifest. Anyways, spiders are very interesting, especially when you watch a documentary and learn more about them, because the spider's entire existence is built on faith and trust. Not just in their own abilities, but that it'll even work out in time for them to basically not starve. I mean, think about it. A spider, right, spins a web, and they're reliant not just on the dexterity and the stickiness, whatever it is that can catch the bugs, but they're also relying on the fact that a bug will just fly into their web in general. I mean, think about that. They have so much faith. They are literally putting their survival, their ability to eat on the line for the fact that they can actually catch a bug and that it'll actually work. And the whole thing about spiders is that it makes so much sense as far as the law of attraction. It explains the law of attraction perfectly. Because spiders also have to build their webs in certain environments that can actually facilitate the fact that they'll catch something. Because obviously, everybody's had a spider trapped in their house, right? And they've had webs and stuff in their house. Well, guess what? If a spider builds a web in your house, in the corner or something, in a location that's probably not going to catch any other flies or anything that can come in, and in general it's a house, so there's not much it can catch in there, then the spider isn't going to eat. It's probably going to die in your home, right? And so this goes back to your environment, really. You have to be in the right environment. A spider has to be outdoors. It has to be in some kind of woodland area and some kind of form of nature in order for its web to be effective, in order for it to have the right catch. And not only that, but again, it has to have faith. This really goes back to building something effectively that can catch or attract what you want, and then having enough faith to wait it out. A spider doesn't freak out either. And remember, this is its entire survival is built on the effectiveness of this web. Despite that, it does not freak out, guys. It sits there patiently until a bug flies into its web, and then it simply makes them into a cocoon, and then it still waits until later. The law of attraction is all about that same principle, faith and trust. It's about building something and knowing that it will be effective. Okay? That's everything. That's exactly what the law of attraction is. You have to build yourself, basically. You have to build your identity and who you are, build your business, build whatever it is, and then expect the thing that you want to come to you. Make yourself attractive in that way. It's just like with other different types of plants too. They'll have like the Venus flytraps and everything. The Venus flytrap has sugar on it. Sugar on the inside, which attracts the flies. The Venus flytrap doesn't go anywhere. It sits there, and because it's attractive with the sugar, it attracts the flies, and the flies goes into the mouth and then triggers the hairs, etc., and then it can eat. And it also relies on this fact of being attractive enough to have things come to it, to wait there. And its whole survival is off of this. I mean, just think about how incredible this is with nature and life, guys. I mean, this really opened my mind to show me the possibilities and to show me how the law of attraction really works, how things get brought in. Because if you think about it, it's like, okay, if there's all these, and there's tons of examples of this, if there's all these animals, bugs, and even plants that can just sit there and expect things to come to them, but of course build it effectively in the right environment, then of course why can't humans do it? And what would that look like for a human? Right? What would it look like to attract like this? And obviously people know this happens all the time, especially in courting, right? Especially in relationships where the woman a lot of the times is the one that's embodying the law of attraction. But no matter what you want to do in life, no matter what you want to attract to yourself, you have to instill this principle. Because at the end of the day, what's most attractive is things coming to the person, not person going out. I mean, think about it. Humans have this innate ability too. It's like forming traps in a way. Okay, things get attracted to those, traps or whatever you want to call it, and that's how they actually get attracted and move towards those things and actually like go to those things. Okay, and like again, I'm using the prey example, but like most animals, they have to, there's some animals that have to fight and run after things. The only animals that survive by literally chasing things are things like cheetahs. Okay, and even then, it's not necessarily the most effective survival instinct that has evolved throughout the millions of years. At the end of the day, the most effective has always been strategy and attraction. Because even other predators, a lot of predators are stealth creatures. They try to sneak up and then they go for it at the last minute. And so that's strategy. But ultimately, attraction is just really about setting the web, which is yourself, and then having and waiting and being patient enough and having enough faith for things to come to you. You have to build it. In business, this looks like building a website or building content, right? Giving out enough value so that the right people will show up, and then the right people will want to invest because they see the value that you offer throughout your videos, throughout your content, etc., right? I mean, in my personal business, for example, I had gone out and I had gone and gotten clients, not organically, but I actually had to go out and scout for clients and go to their actual businesses, cold call, etc., like outbound. I had to do a lot of outbound stuff to get clients, and while it was effective, it was just a lot of time consuming. Then I tried to build content. I tried to build these things that could attract people to me. I'm still in the process of doing that more effectively. But the thing is that when you build those things in an effective manner, then people will come. And you don't have to worry about trying to get outbound and trying to chase or trying to go about it in that way. You don't have to worry about that. You can have things happen more passively and have more of a passive income in your business process. And that's just business, for example. And attraction, everybody knows this. It's like you make yourself attractive. Doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl, by the way. You make yourself a certain attraction, and literally the people will come to you. Or when you actually approach people, it'll be a lot easier because they'll already be interested, because you'll know how to attract them by being you. And so that goes back to the web. What is the web in this example? It's you. You are the web. When you sit there and you have a certain aura about you and you work on your mindset, literally people can just pick up based on your behavior, how you think, and where you're at in life. Like who are you? And then they could be attracted to you based on this. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl. I mean, I've had women come up to me. I've had different people come up to me because of either how open I am, whatever. And I've also had people that have avoided me if I had an off day where I wasn't as open. You see, and that goes back to socializing too. Like when you're open, you're smiling, you generally in your mind, you're like, people like me, like I am a very open person. People like to talk to me, etc. People respond to you in that way. And so you can use this with anything in your life. With business, how can you be more open? How can you allow yourself to receive more? What is the web that you can build that can attract people? What is the honey or the sugar that can attract people to what you're trying to do? Now, obviously, hopefully, you're not building a trap to eat these people or do them harm, right? But you get my point. This is ultimately how life works in attraction. And it happens in courting in animals too, where, in lizards, for example, they have their throat come, ooh, ooh, they do all this fancy stuff. Birds do that kind of stuff too, of like the plumage is a certain color. Peacocks is the most famous example. Peacocks, everybody knows they have their feathers and everything, right? And they have this whole dance and everything to try to get their partner, try to attract their partner. And they do that, and they wait for the perfect opportunity. Sometimes they don't always attract something right away, but they wait. They keep at it. They keep embodying what makes them attractive, or in that case, what makes the animal attractive, and then they end up attracting the mate. I mean, literally, animals rely on this for their very survival, including us. We rely on this for our very survival too. Okay, it's a part of nature. It's literally how nature operates. So if you want to, attract the perfect mate, you want to attract certain clients, attract clients more easily, whatever it is, you need to understand this is how the law of attraction works. You need to set up your web, and you need to have enough faith and patience to be able to wait on the process. But you do have to set up the web though. That could be literally a website, like we literally call it web. Maybe that's why, right? We literally call it a website in the name. Set up a website, set up some like I said, make content, whatever it is they're doing, and then you attract the things to you. This is ultimately how the law of attraction works. But the number one thing is environment. You have to, so that the web and everything is you, it's your identity. The last thing I'll mention here is your environment. You have to be in the right environment. Because again, a spider in a basement or whatever is not going to catch as many bugs or many bugs at all compared to the one that is in nature. So you have to be in the right environment, right? If you say that you want, I don't know, if you want like a girlfriend, right? You're trying to attract a girlfriend, but then if you go to like these places that are probably not the best places for you, there are certain clubs or whatever that don't attract the best people, whatever it is, then are you going to find a nice person to be your girlfriend? No, of course not. So you have to understand environment. You have to understand how to actually go to the right environment that can facilitate a change, that can facilitate growth and opportunity. That's a big key. So you have to be the person, and you have to get in the right environment. Because of course, if you get in the right environment, you're not the right person for it, then you're just not going to fit. So you have to be the right person for the environment. And then when you're the right person for the environment, you're naturally going to be drawn to the right environments as well. And then when you're in those environments, you're actually going to fit. And then that's alignment. Okay. All alignment is aligning to the environments, the correct environment you need to be in order to facilitate a breakthrough, and being the person who belongs in that environment, which is just up to identity, which is ultimately up to you. Okay. That is the key. That is what you ultimately need. Okay. Now, if you're someone who is a master manifester, right? This is someone you're trying to be. You're trying to become someone who can go ahead and adopt their dreams. And you're someone that is like, you know what? I am ready to take my business, my relationships, etc., to the next level, right? You actually are ready to step into this identity. Okay, then you have to understand that people who step into their identity that are ready for the next step, they invest in themselves one way or the other. They take a leap. Okay, it doesn't matter where you're at. I've had to do this multiple times in my life. Other people have had to do this multiple times in their life, whether it's successful people, whether it's the clients that I've worked with. Change is never an incremental thing. You always get to the point where when the rubber hits the road, you have to make a leap that may be uncomfortable, may be uncertain, you can't see things clearly, you know, whatever it is, you have to do something uncomfortable because that's the only way that things actually change. You have to step and you have to leap into that environment. You have to leap into that new identity. Literally from a neurological perspective, this is how it works because your synapses are leaping. I'm trying to remember the correct terms, but it's like literally to form a new link, a new chain in your brain so that you can again change your mindset, which changes reality. Change beliefs, change reality, etc. Literally, they do brain scans. It's not like it flows to one chain. It literally disappears. The neuron, the signal disappears, and then it reappears. It like teleports. It leaps, it jumps. It doesn't go like this. It's not a straight path in our brain. So in order to change your brain and to work with the quantum field, you have to understand that change always is a quantum leap. This is something that I've realized. It's not like when you say you want a quantum leap, it's not even like a shortcut to your goals. No, it's not like, oh, you know, do you want to get to your goals step by step and you want to take a quantum leap is the only way you actually change. The people who believe that they just incrementally changed over time, what happened is they were just basically bypassing the decisions they had to make that were actually going to change their life. And so it looked like, and they were under the illusion that it was small progress, when in reality it was basically excuses and things holding them back, procrastination, etc. And then eventually they got to where the rubber hit the road and they had to take a leap of faith. They had to take a quantum leap. Okay, so quantum leaps are the only way a person can actually change. There's no way around it. And there's going to be uncertainty. There's going to be literally a lot of different things that happen because you have to literally change your perspective, make a leap into a new identity, into a new environment that you've never been in before. And you have to go, okay, this is who I am. I am the person who manifests what I want. I'm the person who is in the environments that I want, around the people that I want. I'm the person who invests in myself. I'm the person who is not scared to invest in my future. I'm not scared to invest in the possibilities because I believe in myself. If you don't believe in yourself, I mean, this is just, motivation 101. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to believe in your potential. And the only way to show your subconscious mind, the universe, and the quantum field that you believe in your potential is by investing in your potential, investing in yourself and taking that leap. So if you're ready to do that, and I understand not everybody's going to be ready for it, as I talked about, incremental steps. Some people keep taking the small steps. Some people never make the quantum leap. But if you're ready to make the quantum leap, you could go ahead and check out the link in my bio, and I have my programs for you. Now, again, that is only for people, the link is in my bio, that is only for people that are ready to make a quantum leap. They're ready to take their life to the next level. Because at the end of the day, that's how change actually works. You have to take the leap of faith, and ultimately you have to bet on yourself. That's what it's about. You have to make a bet on yourself. So that's all I'll say about that. Remember, quantum leaps are how you change, okay? Quantum leaps are change. There's no other change. You have to get in the right environments. You have to change your identity, your state, and that's when you'll see things start to come to you. So until next time, peace out.